Get pucked. Flyers segment here for the Always Next Year podcast. I am Shane. I'm hosting this one solo. This is the Get Pucked segment. Because I'm hosting this one solo, as I just hosted the 76ers show solo, this is going to be a mailbag segment. If you did not listen to the 76ers segment, here are some of the updates to this segment. Start using Twitter. I know when we originally started doing mailbag segments that we told you to email things in. Those of you who do email us, fine. Keep emailing us. It is what it is. Start using the goddamn Twitter. But the email for the mailbag, if you choose to go that route, is at AMY Fuck, that's the Twitter. Twitter is at AMY Podcast. The email is what the hell is the email? AMY Podcast Team at gmail.com. See, I don't even remember the email, which is why we hardly get to these goddamn questions. Anyway, we're going to address a bunch of Flyers questions. We do have an assload of questions in today, so I'm going to go through them as quickly as possible, probably not elaborate as much as I normally would. But again, I've been real backed up on some of these questions. I did finally put it out on Twitter that you can use Twitter and that we are doing mailbag segments and that we will be doing these semi-regularly. So again, start to use them. If you don't want to use the at AMY podcast page, feel free to use any of our personals. Our personal addresses are in the bio of the at AMY podcast Twitter page. I'll read them off at the end. But we're going to jump right into some of these questions here. First one is from Eric. Has Wayne Simmonds played his last week as a member of the Philadelphia Flyers? In all likelihood, yes. It's going to be tough for the fan base as a whole, probably really tough for that locker room to see a player like Wayne Simmonds go, someone who has truly embodied Philadelphia throughout his time here. I would say that he's probably more Flyer than anyone on that roster. So it's going to be tough, but it's a necessary business decision. You don't want to just lose him for nothing, and you're not going to pay him next year. You're not going to pay him when you have too many guys with similar skill sets right now. When you have Nolan Patrick in front of the net, when you have obviously JVR in front of the net, Oscar Lindblom has done much better in that role as well, especially late. He's really come on strong. We're just not going to be able to compete and command or meet the command of his potential next contract. So it sucks to see him go. I'm really glad that that he gets that one last game as a member of a Flyer. We assume anyway, at the link. That should be pretty cool, provided that the weather holds up anyway. But yes, unfortunately, I do believe this is going to be the last week for Wayne Simmonds, and another Scherzy is retired. From Karen, what do I grade Carter Hart so far? B+, A-. He is. It's hard to sit there and say that one player is the reason for a team's success, but when you sit there and look at just how lost this team was as a unit, guys weren't playing up to their potential. That happens all the time, but it seemed like the entire locker room was that way, and that they were all trying to battle through quicksand just to break even, just to get and be competitive again. When you stick a guy like Carter Hart, prized prospect possession of the Philadelphia Flyers, and you bring him up earlier than most people believed he was going to be up, it's a bit of a kick in the ass, and you want to play well for your guy. So inevitably, look, you got to give a ton of credit. He's super, super smooth. He's so goddamn smart and so calm. And I think that because of that, he makes up for some of the areas that he lacks. He's not overly athletic. He's not huge. But he reads the puck really, really well. He fights two screens pretty well. But he anticipates plays so strongly, that he just seems to always be in the right place. So I would say B+, A-. And he has been a true breath of fresh air, man. I can't tell you how much I enjoy watching him play hockey right now. From Jenna, what is my thoughts on the Stoli trade? So I went back and forth with a bunch of people on Twitter about this. I don't understand it. I think that, to me it was kind of just a trade, just a trade. I didn't really see any actual point in this decision. But the one thing that it does do is it allows, Stolarz to go out, command a lot of starts in Edmonton, have the opportunity to be pretty much be the guy there, and rebuild some of his value and get himself a contract next year somewhere, and an opportunity. I do think that he's a solid goaltender. I think he's much better in the NHL level than he was in the AHL for whatever reason. There are just players that are that way. But in all likelihood, he wasn't going to be a Flyer next year unless we sign him to a 1 or 2 year deal, which I don't know that they wanted to do, and I don't know that Anthony Stolarz wanted to do. And what we get in return is a friend of Carter Hart and a bit of a mentor and a guy who is not far removed from one of the better goaltenders in hockey. He had a really strong season 2 or 3 years ago. So I mean, hopefully, look, it is what it is. He'll be a cheap contract next year, and it's just, again, it's one of those meh, I don't really give a shit kind of things. But I was definitely a Stolarz fan from the beginning, and I always thought the organization did him wrong. And I will say this, I believe that giving him the opportunity to go play somewhere else where he can be the guy and put some value to his name, the organization ended it by doing something right for Stolarz, in my opinion. From Momo, which is... Momo, what's your real name? I don't know if you're a guy or a girl. But is Myers just bad at hockey, or is Hackstall body swapped with Scott Gordon and making the lineup decisions? So I've been losing it on Twitter a bit. I've been losing it at work. Every time I see Myers is going to be a healthy scratch, Myers is going to be a healthy scratch, I lose my shit a little bit more. He is not bad at hockey, not at all. He has not shown well in his time with the big club, in preseason. Camps have been okay, but he did play decently, as a member of the 7 defensemen we rolled out the other night. I don't know what the hell is going on over there. Why Andrew McDonald is still on the ice is beyond me. I can't answer that question with any type of fact. The dude, he's good at hockey. He's a hell of a prospect. He's a good right-handed stick out there, for the defense, which is pretty important. Not a lot of teams have a quality right stick there. But I don't know what in the hell the coaching staff continues to see. But to me, there is no fucking reason to have a guy on a year that's lost already. I don't care how many games we've won. This team is not going to the playoffs. They're not, and if they do by some miracle make it to the playoffs, they're not beating anyone in the fucking playoffs. Give the kids some time. Call them all up. I don't give a shit. Let them all play 18 to 20 minutes. Let the defensemen play 24 minutes. I don't give a shit. Get them up and get them some time. It's going to be more important now than it is trying to integrate them into a fresh season next year and saying, well, sink or swim, be the guy. We saw how that worked with Vorobiev, who just cannot play hockey at the NHL level for whatever fucking reason. These guys need the non-pressure situation. This is a little bit lesser of pressure right now. Let Myers come up and play some fucking hockey. I am done seeing Andrew McDonald. We know what he is. We know he's not part of the future. Myers, we want to be. We don't know. We can't possibly know because he's played 16 minutes of hockey in his NHL fucking career. So, long story short on this, and this bit of a rant, you shouldn't have asked me this question, Myers is good at hockey, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. Thanks to a suspension, he is playing tonight, so we'll at least get some there, or some hockey out of Myers tonight. From Ryan, G is having a nice year, but his total is down from last year. Concerned? No, I'm not fucking concerned. He's bounced back and forth from center to wing. He's constantly filling in. It's fucked. He should be a wing. He should be a wing that's going to allow him to score what he did. I'm probably not break 100 again, but you'll see the high 80s, low 90s, I think, out of G, even at 31 years old, if he was consistently in a position and had a line that was stable, but it's not. And right now, him and JVR are lacking chemistry again, which is a problem. So it's just, I don't have any concerns with him. I know his points are down from last year, but you have to remember last year was a career year. And I don't really know why we have to keep continuing to have this conversation about Claude Giroux and as to why people are or are not concerned with this man. He is the face of the Philadelphia Flyers, and he has been for over a decade. The man is a great fucking hockey player. Let's just leave it at that. He's fine. Ryan, good question, though. Sorry, not snapping on you to snap on you. Sarah, of the defensive pieces in the system or at the NHL level right now, who excites you the most? Um, Sarah, I feel like you've asked me this question before. If you're the same Sarah, identify yourself. We really need to have phone calls on this show. That would make this so much easier. But who excites me the most? Well, look, Ivan Provorov for one. If we're talking about people at the NHL level who are going to be here throughout the next decade, or we hope, Ivan Provorov obviously excites me the most of all of them. But removing the obvious one from right there and putting some of the prospects in, I'd say Travis Sanheim. With his increased ice time since Hackstall's been gone, with his increased role, his confidence is soaring again, and he's playing a style of hockey that is most conducive for his own success. He's going to be a hell of a hockey player. I think he's going to be really good for a really long time. So definitely Travis Sanheim. I'm also still super curious about Sam Morin. I just think he's just run into so much bad luck. And I think that there was some really unfair comparisons right when he was drafted. And in a town that had Chris Pronger, you can't say this guy is the next Chris Pronger and then have this guy come in here and be even a fraction less than what Chris Pronger was. He was going to be a failure. And I think the expectations were far out of line from the get-go. But with the inevitable move, or at least I think the inevitable move of Radko Gudas, which I hate. I love Radko Gudas. I hate that we have to move him. Let me make that clear. Having a physical presence like that, and a physical presence with a clean rap sheet, since Radko can't stop getting suspended for doing dumb shit, I think that'll be invaluable to this team going forward. And net front presence, kicking the shit out of people in front of Hart, it's important. So I know I just named half the defense right there, or half the Futures defense, so I'm just excited about all of them. From Jason, where is the best seat at a Flyers game? Jason, are you asking me out on a date? This is strange. The rest of the question, sorry, I'm not going to read that part. But, oh, good. All right, Jason has a girlfriend. We're good here. Jason, I can talk with you. Best seat is, I think for most people, or real actual hockey fans, we love being up top. One, the fans are better. Two, you get a significantly better view of the ice than what you do in the lower level, I think, anyway. Upper level, strange question, dude. Just go to a goddamn hockey game. Just go sit down and watch. Randy, does the NHL have an issue with, yes, since we're, all right, so Randy and Jack, that's crazy. Randy Jackson, that's cool, back to back. Anyway, next question is from Randy. Says, does the NHL have an issue with consistency in suspensions? And the question after that is from a guy named Jackson. Why the hell am I such a big Radko Gudas fan? So I'm going to address the first one first, or the second one first, Radko Gudas. For what Radko Gudas is, I think he's a really consistent defenseman who does a lot of things very well. Nothing overly flashy, but he's very stable and very sure-handed. And he's a physical presence that in today's hockey isn't really there a lot. And on this team, there's like 3 of them that are consistently physical. It's him, Wayne Simmons, and everybody's little brother, TK, who is hilarious every time he goes out there and checks people. I love it. But I think that he just plays a style of hockey when he is playing under control that is such a rarity in today's game. And I think that it's just so needed in a defensive group somewhere. You need a line you need a pairing or a member of a pair to have that mindset and to execute it well night in and night out. And when Radko's right, he does that. So I am a fan of that. But he was just suspended for slashing the head of Kucherov. So there are those moments where he is a fucking moron. That was one of them. And with that, he was suspended the 2 games, and which was 1 game more than Malkin, and he had a hearing the next day, unlike Manta, for the cross-check into the boards, face first on Claude Giroux. So to answer that question, Randy, yes, there's long been a consistency issue, and it goes beyond hockey. It's in sports all around. They I don't know that they've ever treated two situations or circumstances the exact same way. I don't know that they've ever treated two players the exact same way. I don't know that you can, honestly. Yeah, as frustrating as it is to say that and to hear that, I really don't know that you can. I think that, look, Flyers fans would be the first to sit there and flip out. If, for argument's sake, say, Manta puts G into the boards and gets 5 games, and then, Radko goes and does it to Crosby and he gets 12 games. It's easy for us to flip out, but what else went on in that play? What was the intent? Could you make the argument that it wasn't intentional and that he tried to let up? There are so many different variables in how they evaluate these decisions. Do I agree with any of them? Certainly not. I think that you can be far more consistent than what they are. That being said, I don't know that it's likely. Is it a problem, though? It certainly is. From Leslie, what do you think that Ghost is worth in a trade? If we were to move him, he's been bad this year. I don't want to just dismiss this question to dismiss it, but stop saying trade Shane Gostisbehere. We don't draft successful offensive-minded defensemen in the Flyers organization, and we finally did. Get off his ass. He's going to be fine. Leslie, I'm sorry. I don't know you. I'm sure you're very sweet. But Shane Gostisbehere should not be moved. Everyone has a price, but I don't think that people are going to reach the price that I would accept in a Gostisbehere trade. From Tim, can the Flyers make the playoffs? Mathematically, yes, they can. Realistically, no, they can't. I don't think, anyway. There's going to be some shakeup. Like I said, Wayne Simmons, I do believe, is as good as gone. I think that, prior to the Radko Gudas suspension, I believe that Radko is probably gone. And then Michael Raffel, a depth guy, probably going to get a look somewhere. I know they may take a look to sit there and see if they can get someone to bite on a Jake Voracek trade. As Leslie in the last question asked, there is a possibility that Ghost gets moved. I disagree with it, but I believe that it could happen. There are going to be a lot of pieces that could potentially move or be in talks, and we don't know how that's going to go the rest of the way, and I don't know how long they can stay this hot. And even if they do, I don't know the kind of damage they're going to make in the playoffs. I genuinely don't believe very much at all. From Megan, will you really sing if we get you to 30 reviews? Also, who's your favorite Flyer right now? All right, so again, Megan, first of all, thank you for reading our reviews. One of the reviews that came in was will Shane really, or I'm just here to see or hear Shane sing. And if you're wondering, can I sing? Not particularly. But my father is a musician, so there's got to be something in there somewhere that allows me to not suck. But yes, Megan, if you or any of the other people listening to the show get us to 30 reviews, which is ridiculous that we're sitting here begging for 30, we should have significantly more than that because we're fantastic. But yes, hit us that 30 number, and I will post a video of me singing songs of your choices. Don't even care at this point. And who is my favorite Flyer right now? It's, cliche, but it's Claude Giroux. I could watch the dude play hockey all day. And if not Claude, then Ivan Provorov. From Andy, is German Rubstoff a bust? Andy, first of all, thanks for knowing a guy I enjoy. Second of all, he's just had some bad luck with injuries. But he had a really nice start to this year before the shoulder injury. So I'm not prepared to say he's a bust, but he's certainly not future number one center worthy, which is what we assumed when we drafted him. But could he fill in some depth spot, at a third or fourth line center, next year when healthy again? Yeah, I think he could, and I think he'd do well. Last one, God damn it. Last one is from Nicole. Does someone else write your tweets? You're funnier on Twitter than you are on your show. I call bullshit. Shit. So, Nicole, so you know, every single AMY podcast, bi-weekly and quarterly meeting that we have, we say, let's add more personality to the show. Let's stop being so factual and be more fun and funny and engaging. this is consistently my point. So the fact that someone's calling me out personally for not being funny, that hurts. That being said, I promise we're trying to not suck. We're trying to be amusing. We're trying to be entertaining. So Nicole, I will personally tell you when we're at a level of show, I will reach out to you via email since you reached out to us that way. And I will say, hey, think we got a funny product this time. Give us a shot. Tell your friends. Tell your family. So that's it for Flyers questions. Thank you for the ones who made it fun or funny. Thank you for the ones that pissed me off too. Those are always good. But continue to reach out. Like I said, if you've been reaching out through the emails and that's just what you do because you don't have a Twitter and you just use our website, that's fine. It's that's the second time I did that. I started the show this way too. The email address is anypodcastteam@gmail.com. I will not mess that up the next time I say that. And the Twitter handle, which you can reach us out on mailbag questions there, and you can literally send these at any time. You don't have to respond to a mailbag tweet. If you have something, just submit it, and we'll, just send us a tweet. We'll respond on that, and we'll also respond on the show. But that is at AMY Podcast. And then you can also reach out on any of our personals. I am Shane. Mine is at Shane_Mead. Rob is at radio_Rob. LJ is at LJ Harrell 54. Baby Steve is at Schmitty324. Kev is at Kevman316. Reach out with any questions that you have of any kind. We'll answer almost everything. In the Sixers last segment, I had actually responded to a Always Sunny in Philadelphia question because the guy sarcastically said, hey, you said I can ask anything. And we do mean anything. So, getting back to Nicole for that final question, ask whatever the hell you want. If you want something amusing, ask me an amusing question. We'll give you an amusing answer. But continue to rate and review. Please share us with your friends and family. Steal their phone. We don't care. Secretly submit and sign up for our show on your boyfriend or your girlfriend's phone. Buy your dog a cell phone. I don't care. Put us on. I'm sure your pups will want to listen to us. We're fucking great. But the more reviews that we get in, the better. Again, as I told you in the Sixers segment, possibly in this segment too, everything's blending together today. We do this stuff for you. So if we're putting out a show and product that you're not enjoying, tell us and we'll make it more enjoyable. But that'll be it for Get Pucked, which, again, we are titling all of our segments now at the request of followers to make it easier for you guys to find the shows and the show segments and the content that you most are interested in. So again, the Flyer segments are called Get Pucked. The Sixers segment that we just wrapped up that I just wrapped up alone in studio here, is TJ's One of Us. The Eagles segments, which are mostly led and directed by LJ, are Kelly Greenhour. And then the baseball segments, which I'm eagerly waiting and anticipating a Bryce Harper breaking news podcast tonight. So I may be holding off on doing a baseball mailbag question. Mainly because I think of the 30 questions that we got in, I'm pretty sure like 29 of them are about Bryce Harper. So we'll see. Either way, there will be a baseball episode out this week at some point. Same thing, we will also be getting out a Kelly Greenhour. The baseball segment's In Cap We Trust. Sorry if I didn't actually say that. I'm all scatterbrained right now. Thinking about the level of pissed off I am over the Bryce Harper still not signing anywhere thing. But that's going to wrap everything up here in the Always Next Year studio. I do believe, like I said, we are going to try to have a baseball segment tonight or tomorrow. And I am also going to we are doing a Kelly Greenhour later tonight with LJ back in studio. He comes back this week, which is good. So that'll be it for the Always Next Year podcast. Rate and review us. And Nicole, I promise we're going to get funnier.